Welcome back to more Keep Smiling Adventures, and today I'm in bloody sunny Wales for once, and I'm joined with Nathan from All Mountain Adventures, the creator of the Headstock 500, the Headstock 200, the Sundowners, and obviously there's a motorbike. We'll just continue. Today I've got him to bring his bike out. The Headstock 500 is next weekend, so we're going to be taking a look at his bike. We're going to unpack. We're going to see what he would carry on the Headstock 500. We're going to take a look at his bike and see how he does it. Let's take a look at his bike. Let's start with the bike. What have we got here?
So we've got a Titus titanium Silk Road.
It's Planet X, right?
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
Got it in the sale about a year ago. Paid £999 for it, so an absolute
price.
Bargain. So yeah, I've had a few upgrades on it since I purchased it. So I've stuck a carbon fibre SID fork on the front there with a lockout.
How much travel has this got?
It's got 100 on the front.
Nice.
We've stuck a Hope Fortis 25 wheel set on there with Hope 180 rotors.
And the tyres?
So we've just changed those. We've literally just come back from the Headstock 500 route test. So we've gone for something quite fast and then aggressive up front because the trails are kind of drying out a little bit.
Yeah.
So we've gone for a Mezcal on the rear, 29 by 2.35, and then we've gone for a Barzo on the front. Again, it's a 29 by 2.35.
I assume you're riding these tubeless?
Oh, 100%, yeah. Always tubeless.
Yeah.
Yeah. Always gone tubeless.
So you've had this frame about a year now.
Yep.
How have you found it?
Really good, actually. Yeah. It's a little bit smaller than I'd like. I've also got a Sonda front here. It's a slightly different head angle, which kind of, I think it seats you up a little bit better for those climbs. This is a little bit more, I'd say, slacker. So I've just tried to lift the front end up a little bit.
And what size is this?
That's the XL.
Which comes in at numbers?
Ooh, oh, you've got me there. Don't know.
Extra large. How tall are you?
6'3".
So a little bit smaller than me. Yeah. What is the group set on this bike? So
all my bikes run SRAM Eagle. So we've gone for SRAM Eagle 1x12 group set with a 32 chainring on the front. Used to have a 32 as standard. A couple of years ago did Land's End to John O'Groats and stuck a 30 on there, and ever since I've just run that on all of my bikes.
It makes sense in Wales.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everything's like 20%.
Everything's steep. So yeah.
So you've got a 50 on the back?
Yeah, no, 52 on the back. Yeah, I think it's 1152. Or 1150, not entirely sure, but to be honest, it just doesn't really make too much of a difference.
I find once you get to like the 50 point, you might as well just walk.
yeah.
That's how I feel about it.
Yeah, 100%. If you're going slower than like 3.5 miles an hour, you may as well just jump off and walk up the climb.
Just enjoy these views out here today.
Absolutely.
Right, so the cockpit, we've got a familiar bar here.
Absolutely.
So this is the Sonda, however you pronounce it, Confucius.
Confucius, yeah, we think.
Confuses us.
We're not sure.
So this is 660?
No,
680?
that's 760 bar,
760,
I believe.
That's the one.
Yeah. So on that we've got a 70mm stem. We've gone for the Ergon fat bar grips with like a sort of a bit of a palm support on there, just so that you don't get numb hands when you're out doing long distance riding. We've got the SRAM Code G2 brakes on there. They're fairly good. They stop you even when your bike's fully loaded, so that's always a plus. We've got a dropper post with a lever on the front, and then below that we're running a lockout lever on the SID fork.
Okay, the dropper post.
Yep.
What is a dropper post here?
So it's a Brand X Descend. So it's most people will be familiar with it. It's from Chain Reaction Cycles. Again, run those on all of my bikes.
I've got a question about dropper posts.
Sure.
That maybe you can answer. For the bikepacking lot out of here, you're obviously running a rack here, but with seat packs, do the dropper posts still work?
Yeah, 100%. So with the tail fin rack, one of the benefits is you can load at the back and then taper it down so that you get everything at the back and then smaller items there, and then with that you can fully drop it. still allows you to get over the back of the bike. That can sometimes get in the way a little bit, but it's better than running a fixed post where you've got a seat pack and then you obviously constrained a bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, it's really good.
That was nice. So is this cable or Hydrix cable, right?
Yeah, so it's cable actuated. That's obviously on a that's hydraulic, and I think it's about 125 millimeters of travel.
And has it been reliable? Because moving parts often, not all, when I'm cycling, when I'm bikepacking, I like to moving parts are as much of a no-no as possible. But have you found it?
Yeah,
reliable?
so
any issues?
No issues at all, to be fair. So I'm like you. I like minimal fuss, but because I do use this as a trail bike as well, I also like to sort of take the bags off it and be able to sort of use it on the trails. So I needed to find sort of a happy medium, but between sort of having something that was suitable for bike packing and then trail riding. So it's been really good. Brandex, a really good make. And
do you remember the price of that?
They're cheap. That was 70 quid, brand new. And it's been super reliable.
Nice.
No issues with it whatsoever.
That's good to hear. And 70 quid. For a dropper post, they can be quite expensive, right?
Absolutely, yeah. Some of the hydraulic ones like RockShock, they sort of 220 odd quid and probably more now.
Way too much for a seat post for me. This saddle is very unique looking.
Yeah, it is.
Saddles are very personal things, but
yeah, everybody that sees it has questions. It comes like that. It's not. I haven't just sat on the end and bent it. It's what I find is when you're getting on and off the bike, by having that pointed down, it just stops you snagging on shorts or bib shorts and so on. I've got a massive bum, so it's 160 wide saddle, I believe. Got quite wide.
And who makes it? Is it?
It's an SMP. As you've said, saddles are subjective. I've got them on every one of my bikes, just because it's one of the main contact points.
Yeah. And off-road, it looks quite a padded saddle.
It's very comfortable. This one's quite polished up now. It's had a lot of use. Yeah, they sort of come in there a bit sort of duller than that. But yeah, it's super comfy. You can ride for miles and miles and miles, and you don't get any problems with like saddle sores or anything like that. And that's something that I used to suffer with, so that's really sorted it out. So yeah, no problems.
Yeah, right. Let's go on to the bit that everyone wants to know about: the bags, the bike packing kit.
Yeah.
What you're carrying. What would you recommend? Obviously, the headstock 500 is coming up in like a week, or it'll probably be like as this video is coming out, or hopefully just before. So what? Let's go through the bags first, and what you're carrying, and where you're carrying them, and why you're carrying them there. So
yeah, sure.
Should we start with this lovely bag here?
Yeah. So first off, it's a full tail fin setup. I used to run Alp kit on all of my bikes, but for various reasons I've moved over to tail fin, namely waterproofing and so on. So we've gone for a 1.5 litre top tube tail fin bag, and so we've got a Garmin mounted on the front, and which
Garmin is this?
That's the 830.
830, same one as that.
So I tend to double up on GPS devices, so if one breaks, I've got a spare. But I've lent the one out for the headstock 500 at the moment, so it's currently in use. So start off with power bank. I think that's just a small 5,000 milliamp. That's just for my Garmin. That just keeps everything powered. It's reliable. I've had it about a couple of years. It's an eBay. It's just a cheap one off eBay, to be perfectly honest with you.
That's all you need for a Garmin. They're not very power hungry.
Yeah. And then we've got various cables. Trying out some different food at the moment, so I've gone for some honey roasted nuts. Some serene bars. They're a winner. They're low fat, by the way, and they're really high in carbohydrates.
These are very popular.
They are really good. Yeah, I've got quite a few of those. This is quite new, so I've got an iPhone. I've got an iPhone 13 Pro Max, and that is essentially a plug. It was a TikTok shop special.
So it's a wireless charger.
Just sits on the back there, and the benefit of that is I only have to carry a USB-C cable. So it's USB-C or micro. I carry 2 cables, USB-C and then the one for the Garmin, and just cuts down on the number of cables that I have to take. But that's 5,000 milliamps. That'll charge my phone roughly 2-3 times. So it's just easy, take it off and then keep it charged up. We've got some frutellas.
I'll have them for later.
And then various cables in there, headphones.
Do you listen to music while you ride?
Sometimes, yeah. I mean, I use it for more navigation, so I've got the Garmin set up for turn-by-turn guidance, and on the headstock that's quite important. You are very remote. The route's quite easy to follow, to be fair. It's just on defined paths, but it's just nice to have a little prompt now and again. You might just sort of get lost in the scenery and then your headphones bleep at you.
Turn left, turn left.
Yeah, 100%. So yeah, so that's the top tube. I think that's a 1.5 litre. It's currently bolted on.
Okay, so it's a bolt on.
Yeah.
So that's another thing with this frame. It's obviously got bolt on. It's got, actually looking at it, it's got a lot of attachment points. It's
got loads, and one benefit that I've come to realise today actually is that if you ever if you do take bottle cages on your bike and you lose a bolt, you've got 3 on the chain stays and seat stays, sorry, and then you've got these ones up here for where if you want to mount a different type of rack. So if you ever run out of bolts, which is unlikely because there's loads on this bike, but you've got 3 bottle mounts on the frame, 2 here, 2 below. But as I said, it's a full tail fin setup. The benefits of that are you can take this on and off really, really quickly, which is great for when you're putting the bike on the roof of the car. There's no getting an Allen key out, having to unscrew the bottle cage and remove it.
So now let's take a look at the frame bag, and this is obviously tail fin again.
Yeah, full tail fin setup. So we've gone for the 3.8 litre tail fin frame bag. It's really, really good. So it's just, I mean, what I love about it is, firstly, it's waterproof, and I've tested that when I was doing a couple of river crossings fairly recently on the full route run. But it's only got 4 straps, I believe. So you've got 1, 2, and a third one there.
I noticed with these straps, they look like they're quite well made. They're not some cheap rubber. They kind of got a bit of rigid.
They're super, super durable. They're dual purpose, so I use them on my kids' bikes just for securing things.
Okay, so are these actually come with the frame?
They do, yeah, they come with the bag. They give you spare ones as well. So you're totally covered.
So quite like the actual bit that goes through. I'll show it on camera, obviously, but it looks, it's got a nice mount instead of just my bags have like a fabric and it eventually just tears and it sags and eventually it stretches. That doesn't look like it will do.
No, these are really, really good. So it's almost like a bracket which is mechanically fixed to the bag with a rubber sort of mounting strip on it.
Which I just want to point out, the actual top of this frame bag is rigid, isn't it? It's got like I guess an insert in there to make it.
Yeah, I don't think it's an insert. I think it's like some form of like lightweight frame, and that's kind of what drew me to the bags, to be perfectly honest with you. They don't sag. When you take everything out, they obviously hold their shape. That's got nothing in it at the moment, and that's got obviously holds its shape, which means getting in and out of it is a doddle. But yeah, they've got these really cool mounts on them. Tailfin have got a really, really cool sizing tool on their website as well. So what you do is you take your mobile phone, stand about 3 meters back, you take a photograph of your bike without anything on it, upload it, and then it will tell you roughly what size bag it wants, and then it just asks you to sort of measure that bag and just to confirm the size, and that's it. So yeah, really, really good.
Right, let's go. What would you carry in your frame bag? Hygiene.
Everybody that bike packs carries a toothbrush, hopefully. If not, for cleaning your chain, for cleaning your teeth. Okay,
or the other way around.
Really hold that off.
You can keep that in your pocket.
So, what would I pack on the headstock? First aid kit.
Is this what would be your basic first aid kit?
So in there you'll probably find things like stowey strips for fixing cuts, just if I need to join myself back together, or just to close up the skin from a cut, bit of bandage, plasters, some paracetamol, things like that. So just a very basic first aid kit really, just to patch yourself up.
I think often the first aid kit you carry is not necessarily for yourself, but for the people around you.
100%.
Because you can only do so much on yourself, as I found out the other week. But yeah, so having a first aid is pretty good for the people around you.
So then, in no particular order, we have got a spare inner tube. I said I don't use inner tubes, but I carry one.
Just one?
Yeah, generally just one.
For the headstock 500, would you recommend two?
Probably, I'd say 2 is probably not a bad idea if you've got the capacity. But what I would suggest you carry, and I'll get it out of my bag in a minute, is probably a tyre boot and some patches as well.
Yeah.
Just as a precaution. We've got a neck buff, and that's really, I just wear that at night, to be perfectly honest with you. And it's you know, Wales is a funny old place. It's warm now, about 20 degrees, but tonight it'll get down to about 11, 10 degrees. So we've got a Alp kit. This is their titanium mug. I think you've got the same one as this actually.
I don't have it. I just have a very cheap one.
So in this then, it's about the same size as just a normal mug.
Coke can, isn't it?
Yeah, it's tiny. But within that then I've got a fork. Oh, sorry, a spoon. And then we've got the actual stove bit itself, which is absolutely, it's tiny.
Very tiny little one.
Tiny. Just get that out so everyone can see it. It's called the Krakow or Krakow.
I've got a very similar knockoff version of this.
We never know how to pronounce the items though, that's the problem, isn't it?
Well, now you know how I feel like when I come to Wales.
So I'll just quickly whiz through that. So that's it really, it's really lightweight.
That just screws onto the gas canister, doesn't it?
Onto a gas canister, which I've just realised I haven't actually got with me.
No tea and coffee for us then today?
Yeah. So, I'll put that away in a minute. We've got a lighter, because this one hasn't got an ignition on it, and then we've just got, again, hygiene, antibacterial wipes just for wiping stuff out at the end. And then very, very, very important in Wales is, and I think I must have left the bag, that's actually a water filter, and what it's got is there's a pouch, and that's the lid. It basically just screws onto a bag. That's the filter.
And what brand is this? What make is this?
Waterwell.
Okay.
It's an Amazon special. It was, I think it was £22. It comes with 2 bags. They've got a carabiner on them though, which is really handy. So what you can do with that is just clip it onto things. The bag's about 500 mils. You can stick it in a hydration pack if you want, or into a rear pocket. But you can just drink straight through the bag. That's a really it's like quite free flowing. Some of them, like the soy water filters, you know, you have to really put a lot of effort into getting the fluid out. Water filter, that's actually a mandatory item on the headstock 500.
Okay.
The route it's really remote. It's roughly 30-40 miles in most places to resupply points, but the bit between Talgarth to Knighton is actually 50 miles. So the guys probably won't actually come across much between there.
There are plenty of places to filter water though.
Loads.
In Wales, so I feel there's a really good option for just general bikepacking across the UK anyway. Yeah,
sure. Some people are opting for chlorine tablets, but personally I've never used them, so I can't really say what they're good for. That's just, again, just more hygiene. Wet wipes, there's lots of sheep and sheep poo. These ones, they're not arm warmers.
Sunscreens, I think
they are. So they're DHB. They're really good. They don't keep you warm at all. In fact, if you put these on in the morning and it's cold, you'll probably take them off and you'd be warmer. I don't know how they work, but they do keep the sun off you.
Stop you getting burnt.
Yeah, really, really good. Okay, so then moving on to the rear. We've got dual pockets on the side. So this one's more just for like storing flat objects like maps and pack tool tie boots. So really important. I've been caught out in the past before just doing the Great British Escapade, and sliced my, I think it was my front tyre. It was a Mezcal at the time. I just couldn't, I tried to use the little tyre plugs, just couldn't get it to seal. Had I had one of those, I would have been fine. So that's essential. It's not mandatory, but I would recommend you bring it. Brake pads.
You definitely need them when you come to Wales. Always bring a couple of sets of them.
You'll probably burn through a set of brake pads on the first 50 miles. It's very up and down, let's put it that way.
And everything in Wales is steep.
100%. More brake pads. Another power bank. So depending on whether, sometimes I ride with a dynamo. It depends on the terrain. Personally, I wouldn't recommend a dynamo for the headstock 500 or the headstock 200. It's too up and down. You won't really get the efficiency that you need from a dynamo because there's just not enough flat. I think it's about 12 miles, sorry, of downhill from Blaenavon to Abergavenny, and that's probably about it. So you won't really benefit from a dynamo. So I just use that for charging devices. Next one then is squirt barrier balm. Really good stuff, this. I mean, these are brilliant because they're just sort of 6 gram sachets.
And what are these for?
Because Josh doesn't use chamois cream, right?
I don't use anything.
But Josh is probably a lot lighter than me. I'm about 98 kilos, and you'll be sitting on your saddle for quite a lot of this ride, so chamois cream's essential. This stuff's really good. It's got lanolin and tea tree. It smells lovely. 2 sachets would probably do you 4 days. Next up then, these usually go with my first aid kit. We've got muscle balm. It's from Muscle Mechanics, and this stuff's really good. If you suffer with a little bit of like aches and pains and stuff at the end of the day, you can just stick a little bit of that on. They're tiny little tins, but they last months. We also use the pain relief balm. We don't carry things like ibuprofen. They're not very good on your kidneys and those kind of things. So pain relief balm, I used it on Land's End to John O'Groats. I suffered from a little bit of patella tendonitis, and it got me through it. And I think that's it from the frame bag.
Nice. So we've got the little down tube bag.
Yeah, this bag's really cool. It's super versatile, so you can get a slightly larger one of it. And if you do run a fixed seat post, a lot of people tend to just mount it behind there now.
Okay.
I'll take it off because the way that this will actually show you how this thing mounts. The mounting system that tail fin have sort of introduced.
Yeah, it's nice. It's a rubber, so it's going to protect your frame.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to sit nicely in your frame. That.
Yeah. So that's just my toolkit, really. So I've got my tools inside like one of those toolkit canisters. You've got loads of capacity on this one. So we've got at the bottom Gorilla Tape. I don't really go anywhere without Gorilla Tape. I've got it in my car, I've got it at home. Electrical insulation tape if I need to fix like a spoke or someone's annoying me and I need to tape their mouth shut.
Keep quiet then.
Yeah. So then on to the main stuff there. Spare bit of chain in case I won't get everything out.
Yeah, you can just tell us roughly what's in.
Yeah, we've got valve cores. I've got a few of those. They tend to clog up with sealant, and then sometimes you can't get your tyre inflated. We've got cleats, mountain biking cleats in there, spare cleat bolts, and an assortment of bolts. And then moving on to like the bulk of it, we've got obviously a mech hanger. I wouldn't recommend going anywhere in Wales without a spare mech hanger. Do you carry one?
I did carry one, and then I used it and I haven't replaced it. So yes, I should go and get one.
I haven't actually cleaned my bike, by the way, and I would say my chain's pretty clean, and I sort of attribute that to squirt chain lubricant. I've been using this for about, I don't know, eight years or more. Really, really handy. A lot of people don't know this, but this bottle is reusable. It's got a lid that you can take out and you can fill it back up again. So for bike packing, it's great because you don't have to take a massive bottle of lubricant. I'd say one of those bottles is probably enough to get you around 300 miles. Easy. Multi-tools go, we've got a wolf tooth. This one's a little bit fiddly, but it's got spare linkages in there, or quick link actually, sorry. And then we've got a selection of different adapters for, what do you call it? Allen keys.
And then we've got
it's a wolf tooth, and then you've got a bigger one on the side then, so you can really sort of get some.
You've also got the, so you can break a chain?
Yeah.
Like if you
yeah, chain splitter as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only thing that this doesn't come with is an actual chain breaker on it, and I carry another tool which does that. One of the really, really sort of handy things that it does have on it is when you're doing long distances, sometimes your spoke might loosen off. It's actually got a spoke key there on the back.
Nice.
So I use that. And then sort of running through this then, we've got toilet paper and stuff like that, just for sort of like wiping your chain down. We've got the cleats and the bolts. We've got a CO2 canisters, just for trying to reseat the tyre a bit quicker if it's raining or it's just being a little bit annoying. And then this is a really cool tool because it looks like a gas canister, but it's not. It's a tyre plug tuber thingy majiggy. And then within this, then what you've got is a selection of different size. So what do they call them? They're like worms, or?
Yeah, I think they call them
worms.
Yeah, something like
I don't know. They're really weird though.
Worms.
And that's pretty much it for the toolkit. Some fairly straightforward stuff in there. I'm sure other people carry way more than I do. Stuff that I don't tend to pack would be like a spare spoke. I carried them on Land's End John O'Groats, but if you're tubeless, you got to take all the rim tape off, and it gets gunky and it's messy. And if you don't really know what you're doing, and admittedly I don't, you're just setting yourself up for failure. So you may as well just try and find a local bike shop and get them to do it for you.
I think knowing how long the spoke length is a good option, but I don't carry a spare spoke either because yeah, the actual measurement, no.
That size, that's what I do. So
we're on to the final bag now on the back.
Yeah.
So this is the money bag.
Yeah. So this is the tail fin rack. It's carbon fibre arm. This one's got the pannier mounts on it, so you can actually get panniers for it, and I've got those. And they're really cool because they just sort of mount onto there and they slot on the arm. You can get them on and off within seconds. I use this bike as well if I'm commuting to the office in winter, and these systems are fully waterproof. You're not going to get any water into these, I can promise you. Same with the panniers. So you can load the bike up, you can get everything you need in there. So first off, we've got a hip lock. I think it's one of their newer ones actually. There's no key for this, it's just a combination in.
So this is obviously just when you're jumping inside a supermarket.
Yeah.
I guess maybe when you sleep.
Yeah,
if you
just
really feel like it.
Yeah, I just put it through sort of the wheel and the frame, just if someone was going to try and nick your bike, they're not going to get very far with it. So yeah, this is really cool. So it's got tail fin manufacture like a through axle, and it's a universal one, and it's got different lengths for different sized bikes. So this system, I've got I think I've got 3 bikes, and it's compatible with all 3. So it's really super cool, and it clips onto there. So you don't need any mounting points. You don't need any frame mounting points because of that axle at the back. It's got some handy pockets on the side, which I don't actually use, to be honest. So then, in terms of what's in here,
so it's quite nice. It rolls upwards for very easy access.
Yeah, super easy. So first item in there is a down jacket. It's warm now, it's about 20 degrees.
I'm getting some.
But it's likely to get down between sort of 12, 15 degrees. And what I do is I sleep in that.
Yeah.
That's like another layer of insulation. If it's particularly wet, I might treat myself to just a second pair of bib shorts. Those are the All Mountain Adventures cargo bib shorts. Some of our leg warmers, so if it's a bit mucky, what I do is I just take these because I'll clean myself down as much as I can, and then I'll just pop these on. It adds a layer of insulation. They don't weigh a lot, and it just keeps the inside of your sleeping bag from going all sort of minging. Just another jersey.
This is the sleeping bag?
The sleeping bag. So this is a Highlander Trekker Superlight. I don't really pay attention to what it says on the side. It says that it's 12 comfort, 8 limit, and then -2 extreme. It's a 2-season sleeping bag. I've used it in the middle of winter with a bag liner.
Is this synthetic or down?
It's synthetic. It's mono whole hollow fibre. Whatever that is.
Yeah, whatever that is.
580 grams. You can probably see that. It's tiny. And in terms of sleeping bags, that doesn't break the bank. It's about 30 or 40 quid.
Yeah.
When I bought it, it was about 20. So that's my sleeping bag, and in that you've got like a 1 degree liner. The liner's not really for warmth, it's just to stop the sleeping bag from getting like dirt and stuff in it. And then all you do, take the liner out at the end, and then empty it and wash that, and then wash the sleeping bag, and then keeps things separate. You don't use one of these, do you?
What's this?
So this is my sleeping pad. It's a Trekology UL50. It's an ultralight sleeping mat. It's ultralight, but that doesn't mean the price point is ultra heavy. I think these are about 20 quid on Amazon. They're not a lot. They're slightly bigger than a can of Coke, or maybe like a water bottle. Super comfy. Takes seconds to.
It's an inflatable one?
Yeah, it's an inflatable one. Yeah, it's about 5-6 puffs on it, and then it's inflated. So that's cool. And then finally, we've got an OEX Bush Pro bivvy. If it was going to be super wet, I'd probably have my out kit tarps to tent. You've probably seen Josh broke his. Mine's intact.
You actually have the 2-person one, right?
I do, yeah.
So you have so it has all the inner.
It does. So you enter from the front, and it's basically the inner is the same size as the outer. So it's super spacey in there. You'll get 2 people in there easy, but for me, I'm quite a big guy. So the benefits of that, of course, are you can take all your kit in. I have one side, my kit has the other, and there's plenty of room. You can also pitch it outer, or just inner. It doesn't, what I'd suggest though, on the headstock, forecast is meant to be fairly good. So I would just take a bivvy bag.
Yeah?
Yeah, bivvy bag, and
Maybe
then I'd have, no, not even a tarp. I'd probably just find an outbuilding if I needed to. There's plenty of boffies dotted around. There's shelters in the Yearland Valley, and there's quite a lot of woodland as well, so plenty of places to pitch up and get out of the rain if there was any. What I tend to do though with this is I lay this out. My sleeping mat goes inside it with my sleeping bag, and then I just keep, it's just like an outer layer of protection for everything, just keeps everything nice, and it's a lightweight setup, and that is pretty much it. In terms of kit, that is what I would carry on the Headstock 500.
Right, so the Headstock 500 is in a week?
Yeah, it's Friday the 24th.
And the weather's looking good, so any last minute top tips that you can give the people?
Yeah.
Entering.
So yeah, food. Bring plenty of food, and bring plenty of fluids, or sort of a method of keeping yourself hydrated. You've got very remote areas and not many resupply points in certain locations.
Cool. Well, thank you for showing us your bike, and I might see you at the headstock 500.
I just don't get it. It's like a lumpy mattress.